Okay, so, oops. So I got too many things open. I'm just going to concentrate here. Focus, Lisa, focus. Had a crazy, crazy morning. Okay, so my name is Lisa. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you can get my free behavior board. My mini toddler course is my big boot camp course, which starts, I've got those, it's not too late to get in on the live Q&As, which are in the course. I've got 4 more weeks in the course. They start in an hour. So if you're interested in that, just check it out. And all those videos, all those group coaching sessions go into the course. So you won't miss out. You just won't be able to be there and ask questions. So anyway, and then coaching. I have got too many emails to count, people who want coaching. I just haven't, today I'm going to be taking on some new clients today. So anyway, yeah, I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's frustrating when I can't help everybody. But that's why I thought I'll come on here. If I haven't got to your email yet, sorry, I've just been overloaded. And, you know, my number one focus is always my clients. So the emails and everything else, yeah. Okay. Okay, thanks for feedback about week 2. It really reassured me that it's normal getting. Did I answer your question? When did I do that? Was that on email? I might have answered your email this morning. Anyway, because I did answer an email about that. Yeah, usually things with the course, like in the boot camp course, things usually do get worse before they get better. It's like anything, right? It's got to get worse before it gets better because you're upsetting the apple cart. The kids are going to go, wait a minute, this isn't the old you. I know the real you, so I'm going to fight to get that back. That's extremely normal. You just stay calm and consistent and follow through with the program. Whether or not you're in the course or with coaching, or if you're just doing the free behavior board, it does work. You just got to stay calm. Okay. Oh, yesterday I answered. Oh, okay. Excellent. Because I did answer a question just like that about some, but they were in the course. So anyway, I don't answer parenting questions via email unless it's like obviously not coaching clients, but even then it's usually just in sessions. Okay. Just waiting for your questions. And I'm on YouTube at the same time. My big platforms are TikTok and Instagram, but Facebook's really picking up now. Like it's getting busier. This used to be a slower live, so I got more questions, but yeah, it's picking up lately because Instagram and TikTok get crazy busy. I'm not usually on at this time because I've got my group coaching session with the boot camp course in an hour, less than an hour. So I don't usually do, I'm usually at the gym in the morning. I didn't go to the gym this morning. That's the first time in, I don't know how long, but yeah, I just am too busy. But I will go later. What to do if my toddler comes up behind me and bites the back of my legs when I'm cooking or cleaning? This is a 1.5-year-old. Just say no and remove them. Then watch them coming the next time and say no and push them away. So you got to catch them every single time. Then at that age, you kind of want to divert their attention. You say no. You might want to put them somewhere else and give them something to play with. Look at my toy rotation system. I've got videos on that, and it helps them to stay focused and interested in the toys that they have because they don't have them all out in front of them all the time. They don't get overstimulated. If they have too many things in front of them, they're going to get overstimulated and not focus on anything. That's what I'm like. I got so many screens open right now. That's what I'm like. I need a screen rotation system. Oh, that's funny. I'm going to write that down. Oh, that's funny. Oh, God. I'm going to use that one. Sorry, I have to write that one down. That's funny. Here I'm talking about focus, and I'm just not focused right now. I've been on the go since like 7 a.m. I've been working just full out, and I'm just all hyped up. So plus I've had some caffeine too. Anyway, but yeah, that's funny. Screen rotation. I like that. What else? I wrote down something else I thought was funny. Oh, no, that's not for here. It was funny too. I had a session this morning. Okay. So yeah, you got to redirect that 1.5-year-old. I don't do that so much with a 16-month-old and over, but 15 months to me is still a baby. It's a gray area, but around there. So yeah, redirect them, find something else that they can do. And then just every time they come at you, don't let them keep biting you, prevent it and say no. And then you can put them back to their toy. It's just a game to them. You should be able to wait them out. But if you've got something interesting enough for them to do, chances are they won't keep coming back and biting you. 18-month-old looks at you and does something, whatever you say not to do, he does it anyway. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm going to read out my top 5. Where is it? There we go. My top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. So I just got to get it up here. So I'm going to have to close down all my other screens. I'm just so distracted right now. Just a second. So many messages and stuff coming in. Okay, there we go. Too many tabs open. Oops, I'll get rid of someone here too. Okay, these are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Sorry, I get really hyped up. Okay, number 1 is child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2 is set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. I just talked about that a little bit. Number 3 is when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world. You don't go to the nail salon, you go to the park and roll down the hill with them. They just start to look at you differently when you enter their world. You watch how they play and you join in. Then you can redirect and do different things, but you enter their world that way. Anyway, number 4 is when you want to discipline a toddler, it's consistent corrective actions. They are not about words. You know, all these mini therapy sessions that evidently are, I don't know what anyone else out there is teaching aside from what people tell me, but these mini therapy sessions discussing all their big emotions and big feelings and all that garbage, that's absolute crap. That's invented to make the mom feel good about herself. Toddlers do not need therapy sessions. It's absolutely ludicrous. Their needs are, their love language is play and fun. That's how you connect with a toddler. You're not doing these mini therapy sessions. So stupid. I don't know who came up with that one. Anyway, number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. This is under the age of 3. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They've got one marble and some tumbleweed floating around in there, okay? Imagine if you were only in the world for 2 years and the first year you were a potato laying on a mattress. Like they're just fresh. They're brand new, okay? They're going to do crazy things. Don't try and figure them out. Oh, here we go. This is, I don't quite know. I feel like he understands. Is this the same one? 18-month-old. Yeah, okay. Your idea of understanding is different from theirs. Just because they understand something doesn't mean they're not going to do it. It's the lack of impulse control. It's your adult brain, the way you look at understanding is completely different from them. They know that they shouldn't do it. Doesn't mean they're not going to do it. Why shouldn't they do it? They're just going to give it a go. So it's their understanding is different from your understanding, okay? You're expecting too much from them. That's why I said those top 5 tips for parenting toddlers, a lot of that is just environment management. Like toy rotation system, they're not overstimulated. They're going to focus more on the toys that they do have out because you're rotating them every week or so. And child-proofing your home so you never have to say no. You know, think about it. You're just managing stuff around them. And then I get this from parents. Well, I want them to learn how not to touch stuff. There's no freaking way I want my little one in the bathroom scrubbing their teeth with a toilet brush. I want them to learn. You know, I've heard of that. They say, oh, they got in the toilet brush again. I'm like, oh my God. My kids, I completely child-proofed my whole house. They never had access to a toilet brush. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, and then they say, oh, they got into the cupboard again and they put Vaseline all over the house. How on earth does a toddler have access to Vaseline? You know what I'm saying? Manage the environment. Now, my kids, their whole house was childproof. When we went out, they weren't used to being precocious, so they didn't do it when we were out either, okay? They learned how to be good because they weren't getting into stuff all the time. Where do I find more information from you on parenting teenagers? Well, ask here. This is, I specialize in teenagers, so I don't have a lot of information out there because they're so specific, although right now it's really weird. I've got like 4 parents of 15-year-old boys right now. You could almost copy and paste. It's very rare. It's usually so specific to each family. But yeah, ask. You know, most people who turn up have young kids on these lives. So, and I know what videos do well. If I put toddler tantrums in a video, it's going to go to 1 million. But I don't like to do that. I like to mix it up, right? So I'm here to pass out the most sort of valuable information I can for all ages. But I just don't get a lot of questions on teenagers. But I would say most of my coaching clients have teenagers because that's who I take. I can't take everyone on these days. So, and teenagers, I know you can be in crisis with a teenager. So yeah, ask a question about teenagers. A lot of it's very specific. I can't necessarily answer it because I need to know your history. How social are they? Are they depressed? You know, blah, blah, blah. But I will read out my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers. And these are important, all 3 of them. Number 1 is you listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to what do I call it? Lecture with. Just forgot that word for a second. You don't listen to understand to gather information to lecture. I mean, you listen to understand, not to gather information to lecture with. It's the first time I've messed that up. Won't be the last, I'm sure. Anyway, if they want your advice, they're going to ask for it. They already know it anyway, okay? So be very careful. Use these more than this. Just get really good at listening and they'll tell you everything. Be a safe place to land. Don't be judgmental. When they're talking, don't go like this. Just go, yeah, that would be frustrating, stuff like that. So you listen to understand, show empathy. Number 2, you negotiate pretty much everything. It's not a blanket statement. You don't do it with everything, but try and do it with whatever you can. A good example of this is, hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper from now on. What do you want from me? So go back and forth. And usually when you come at them with this level of respect, they tend to respect you back. It's just the way it is. It's this slow burn, though. You got to work on this. Number 3 is don't sweat the small stuff with teenagers. They're going to do stupid things just like you did, just like you do. We all do. It's not about being perfect. It's about learning how to manage the big stuff and the little stuff. So let them manage the little stuff. You handle the big stuff. Anyway, so they're going to do dumb things. If my kids had done something stupid and it wasn't a big deal as teenagers, I would have said, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off, okay? It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be human, to not be perfect. Most parents of teenagers tend to not understand how to talk to teenagers. You're trying to micromanage them. You're getting frustrated because they're moody. They're teenagers. They're going to be moody. They're not going to be reasonable and fair all the time. You got to learn how to manage that. Like if your teenager's yelling at you and that, I would say something like this. Luckily, my kids didn't do that. But I've worked with tons of kids. But if they yelled at me or anything, I would have said, I'll tell you what, we'll discuss it after dinner, okay? I would not say, we'll discuss it when you've calmed down. Ooh, poke the bear, stuff like that. Parents just can't help themselves. They have to do that sort of thing. If you do it, it's going to get worse. Just say, I'll tell you what, let's discuss this after dinner. Yeah, do not say when you've calmed down. Could you imagine if your partner said that? I'll tell you what, we'll discuss it when you've calmed down. It's so patronizing. It's so holier than thou. So I'm going to skip ahead because I got a lot of questions coming in. Do you personally think 19-month-old needs a speech therapist? I can't answer that because I'm not a doctor or anything. But I'll tell you what happened with my daughter. She could not put a C and an L together. Like clock was kalak. She could not join the two. Anyway, so she hit grade 1. And we thought this was adorable that she couldn't do this. So the teacher said, you know, you really should get that sorted out because it could lead to problems. And I didn't agree with it, but I thought, oh, well, you know, I will. I'll just take her in. It was 2 sessions and she could do it. And I missed it. I kind of regretted it. But yeah, you got to use your own instincts too. Like, do you think that your child needs a speech therapist at 19 months? Some kids don't even talk till they're 3. So yeah, I don't know. Personally, it seems a little bit young, but if you're really concerned, ask a doctor. I'm not a doctor, obviously. Okay, toddler eating habits, please. How do we broaden his palate? This is from YouTube. Okay, I'll tell you what I did with my kids. I'm not a nutritionist, so again, I don't really like discussing nutrition, but I'll tell you what I did with my kids. I'm really a health food nut, so I never had any junk food in the house, for one thing. So they knew if they didn't eat their vegetables, there was no ice cream or potato chips waiting in the cupboard, okay? So they knew that. And also, I sort of cooked around their taste. And by the way, I hate cooking. I cook with hate. I hate it. Anyway, but I make everything from scratch. And I still do it, but I hate doing it. Anyway, I made everything from scratch, all the bread and everything. But I was very good at pureeing healthy stuff and throwing it into everything. Remember the first time my son had pizza? He was out somewhere and he came home and he goes, their pizza was weird. The sauce was red. He thought sauce should be brown because my homemade pizza sauce had pureed spinach in it. So that's what I did. Okay, actually, I got to move over. I've got my group coaching happening in my boot camp course in like 45 minutes. So I'm going to go over to Instagram now just so I can fit it all in. It's not too late to get in on that course. The group coaching sessions, I've still got 4 of them left, 4 more weeks of that. And the ones that we did in the last 2 weeks, they're on the course now. So no matter where you are in the course, I am focused on week 3 this week because that's the week that we're in. But yeah, you can still get in on that if you want to. It's a Q&A with parents who are in the course if you're interested. That's in the link above. Also, you'll find my mini toddler courses, my free boot camp course, or you can look into coaching. I'm really busy. My schedule's pretty packed these days, but today I am taking on new clients. I've got a big lineup of people waiting. And I like to mix up the ages, so you never know. And if you're in crisis, I always prioritize crisis clients. That's the life and death teenage stuff. It's not 2-year-olds having tantrums. Anyway, I'm moving over to Instagram now. I'm staying on YouTube the whole time. So thanks so much for joining me. Happy parenting. I'm just laughing because I did something so stupid today. The person who knows what I did will be watching these lives later, so they will laugh. Anyway, just a technical thing I did online. Really dumb. Okay, so I am now on Instagram. I've got over 100 people on here so far, so I'll do my best to answer as many questions as possible. Also, if I don't get to your questions, it's because I'm mixing up the ages, and also I scroll ahead to make sure that you're still here, because sometimes people come and go. I don't want to answer a question if you've already left, right? So anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm not usually on at this time because I've got my group coaching session coming up in the boot camp course very soon. So I'm usually preparing, but I'm all organized with that now, so I don't need to prepare for anything. Last minute, oh my God, I didn't prepare. But anyway, hopefully it'll all go great. Greece, hello, Greece. I've never been there. And someone said, oh, by the way, before we get going, look at the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course. You can still get in on those group coaching sessions. They start like in less than an hour. Anyway, look into that. And what else? Oh yeah, coaching. Check out coaching if you're interested. Can't take everyone on these days, but you can apply if you're interested. Okay. Someone said, Britness _ Graham. When you raise your kids, were you working or mom or stay-at-home mom? I was a stay-at-home mom, but I was in schools. All my days were spent either working out or I was in schools or homes working with kids, all volunteering with kids. And then I used to teach aerobics too, back in the day. You know, when they had the headbands and all that stuff? Yeah. Wasn't quite that bad when I taught it, but when I first started doing aerobics, it was all the headbands and the leggings that went, or the tights, the bodysuit that went up to here. Yep, I wore all that. How to deal with kid throwing food on the floor during eating? That's an easy one. Just pick it up, throw it in the garbage, and say, okay, here you go, and you hand feed them. Will they eat? Probably not. They're going to be mad because they want to feed themselves. But too bad, they just threw the food on the floor. If they're really little, you got to be quick with this so they connect the dots. Food on floor, garbage, hand fed. They'll eventually catch on. If they're not going to eat anything more, you just take a break and wait. If they calm down, try and hand feed them again. Through the rest of that meal, do not let them feed themselves. Then if they won't eat, then you say, okay, we're all done. Clean them all up. Half hour later, you can sit them up again and give them a little bit of food so they can't throw the whole thing. If they throw it again, do the exact same process. Eventually, they'll learn that, hey, if I don't want to feed myself properly, I will get hand fed. Now, some parents say, what if they like being hand fed? Then you get stupid with hand feeding. So if all they want is to be hand fed, I would get real stupid with it. I go, oops, I dropped it. Oh, here you go. Oh, I forgot to make a phone call. They'll just get so sick of waiting for their food, they'll end up feeding themselves. Okay. How do we go about toy rotation for 14-month-old? Put all their toys away, take out the 5 favorites, and then just start there. That's it. But take out, you can even start getting them a new toy or something different to play with. They're only 14 months. You might just get some old boxes or something, right? And paint them up, but not paint, do safe paint or whatever if you're going to paint them up. But I used to do all sorts of weird stuff with boxes. So you can set those up, something new to do so they don't notice all their toys are put away. They're only 14 months old anyway. So yeah, and then just rotate once a week as needed, but you only put the stuff away that they don't play with. So it's when they start getting bored. I only did a toy rotation with my kids once every few months, because we were out and about a lot. I raised my kids in Australia, so it's very outdoorsy there, obviously, because of the weather, the climate. Also, God, it was so good. They had, I'm so glad I raised my kids in Australia. There's a lot of reasons for that, but heavily reliant on parent involvement in classes all throughout grade school, elementary school. They need parents helping out. So we were there all the time. There was lots of parents that were there every day and helping out. They don't do that in North America as much. I know why. Teachers have told me why it wouldn't work here. But anyway, in Australia, it works really well. We're very obedient. We just sit up the back of the class and we're there to support the teacher. We don't say a word until the teacher lets us. Like, we're very obedient over there. Anyway, it was fantastic. And another thing that was so great, it's toy related, was in the normal libraries, the book libraries, at the back of those libraries, not all of them, but the bigger ones, they had toy libraries. So you go and check out toys. And these were not just little toys. These were like the big ones, the Fisher-Price, the big outdoor slides and stuff like that, or the big doll house, or the big garage things with all the cars would go down. These were, they didn't come with cars. So you'd have to have your own cars because it was just the big stuff. And then you hose it all down, like it was Australia, it's very hot. Hose it all down. and then you leave it out in the sun to dry, then you pack it up, take it back, and then you get some new stuff. So that's why I didn't do a toy rotation with a lot with my kids, because we had this toy library. I really suggest whatever city you're living in or whatever. I don't know if libraries would do that. That's kind of a bigger target. I would just go to a church and say, look, what a great idea. Maybe we could even donate some stuff and you could get that going. I'm sure that their parishioners, I don't go to church. Is that what you're called if you go to church? Their parishioners would probably donate their old toys, and then they can get a toy library going. There's no charge. It was free. So yeah, anyway. Oh, this is such a good one. It comes up all the time. In 17 years, I've had to answer this question I don't know how many times. This is from Cassandra. Why is playing with the kids a parent consequence on behavior board? Doesn't that imply playing with the kids is a punishment for parents? I've been teaching for 17 years. Not one kid, not once, not ever in 17 years has been insulted by that. They're so thrilled that their parents are playing with them. They don't connect it. They're just thrilled. So not once has a child, if they do, say no. I said, it is a consequence, and that we wouldn't have done it right now, or we have to play longer. So yeah, not one kid though. Isn't that interesting? There's a few things like that. I won't go into it, but there's a few things like that you would think kids would point out. There's one in particular, not one kid has ever pointed out that I know I would have. And I've got a client who said, oh, for sure their little girl's going to ask. She didn't. It's a real obvious one that kids don't pick up. I won't even say what it is. It's a real obvious in coaching that, it comes up on here too. But yeah, it's a really obvious one. I'm pretty sure as a kid I would have asked, because I'm very, very analytical. But this other little girl didn't. So maybe I wouldn't have. So yeah, they don't. This is for them, not for you. Like what might not make sense to you, everything I do, it's for the kids' needs. It's for them. It's all designed to work with children. You may not like it, but it works with children. So does that make sense? Isn't that funny? I would think kids would pick up on that. I mean, playing with me is a punishment? I would think so, but not one kid's ever complained. They're like, yippee, we're playing hide and seek. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, well. Okay. Have you ever worked with a child diagnosed with child apraxia of speech who will throw super long? I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm not up on all these things. Who will throw super long tantrums like an hour? Okay, so and struggles with comprehension. I don't know what you mean, but a lot of kids I work with have disabilities. Parents of children with disabilities. So I don't know. I can't answer that. If I have, I don't know what the terminology. I worked with a lot of kids with speech delays or cognitive delays, but or autism. But yeah, no. Someone confronted me on something about a year ago. They said, how can you not know what that is? I'm not a doctor, a parenting coach. It was something, and I looked it up later on. I thought, why would I need to know about that? Yeah, I'm not a doctor. It just struck me as funny. They were so disgusted. That's okay. Can you please explain about routine to bed? Oh, the bedtime battles course. Check that out. It's a whole routine. It's a whole system. It's just too much for me to talk about in a live. Check out the bedtime battles course. It's one of my mini courses. It's up in the link above, as is everything. By the way, in about 35 minutes, I'm going to be doing my group coaching session with the boot camp course. You can still get in on that. We're in week 3. This group coaching session will be focused in week 3, but you'll see other parents. Oh, should I go into this funny story? No, I won't. It's in the group coaching. I just told a client that, so I think she's probably going to turn up because she wasn't in the thing. It's quite funny last week. Should I bring it up? No, I won't. It's very funny. I want to. Yeah, I think I will. It's a funny story. Last week in the group coaching, I work with someone. Someone helps me out, and this is a person who does all my videos, all my marketing, all that stuff. So they have a marketing head on them. I could care less about any sales market. I could care less. I'm just here serving you, right? So last week's group coaching in the boot camp course, this one mom turns up. She's in week 2 last week. Last week was week 2. She goes, I've got it. I'm a leader. She was just doing great. Like everything was working. She just gets it. She goes, I consider myself a leader. She was doing great. Here's the difference between me, the parenting coach, and my marketing person. They were looking at that because I have a disclaimer. I can use all that whole session for marketing purposes, right? Like it's just a free add-on that I put in the course. So if you don't want to be on there, you don't have to turn up. So, so my marketer was going, this is great. I'm going to use this for marketing somehow because this is great that parents are getting all this success. I'm watching all the other parents who are not getting that same, because that's unusual, who are not getting all that same success in week 2, and they're all kind of like this. That's all I'm looking at. So it was so funny because we see it from such different perspectives. But what I did point out, yes, that mom was doing great, by the way. She was doing phenomenal. She just followed through. You remove emotions and just follow through with the program, right? If you get emotional when you're disciplining, it's not going to work. You can be emotional when you're playing with kids. But anyway, she was doing fantastic. But I did point out for the whole group, she may have a really easy child too. Like some kids are just super easy to work with. Or sometimes you'll get a week, the honeymoon week. The first week is honeymoon week. I hope she didn't just get that because then often you can get into the hell week, right? So, but she was just doing great. But it was just so funny how a coach who I'm in the caring field and the marketer who's, more into the finances, right? How we viewed that so differently. Okay. Time is it? Oops. I don't think I've answered enough questions on here yet. So I'll answer a couple more, then I'm going to move over to TikTok. When should I consider more help for behavioral issues or possible ASD? That's autism spectrum disorder. I can't determine if it's my parenting or her brain. My younger kiddo doesn't have these problems. I can't tell you that. But all I work on is parent-child relationships, irregardless of whether or not they have ASD. It doesn't matter to me. That's only coaching though, okay? If they are in the spectrum, that's more of a specialty. It's just in coaching. Because some stuff that works with most kids will not always work with an autistic child. So we have to find other ways. But if you're really concerned, go to a doctor, a pediatrician, and have them assessed. I don't know how old they are though. Like they can't always assess that until they're like, I think about 4. I'm not sure, it changes. Plus everyone I talk to, it's different in different countries and that too, so. Yeah, and even if they do have autism, don't you want to set yourself up as a leader anyway? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's a win-win. You want to be a leader anyway. So yeah, irregardless of what they have, what challenges they have. I always say irregardless, and someone said that's not even a word. You're supposed to just say regardless. I don't know. So I'm scrolling ahead because people come and go, oh gosh, this is a really good question. And it's one it's something I've talked about. How to travel with a toddler on an airplane. Give them whatever they want. There is no way that I would allow a plane to be disrupted by my kid. I took an 18-month-old who did have tantrums, but he never had one on the plane because he got everything he wanted. I gave into if he wanted milk, he drank milk the whole time virtually. Alexa, stop timer.
There are no timers set.
There we go. Just a second. What time is it now? Alexa, start 15-minute timer. I've got my group coaching session coming up in the...
Got my coaching session coming up timer. 15 minutes. Starting now.
There we go. Anyway, yeah, on an airplane. There's no way I would put people through that. Alexa, stop. There's no way I would put a plane ride through that. And they can kind of understand, wait a minute, I got whatever I wanted on that plane. You can fix that pretty quickly. Like my son had no different expectations after that plane because it's such a different environment, right? If he went on another plane, he might have expected to go all his own way. But you see what I mean? He was 18 months old. We went from Australia to Canada. 24 hours, he didn't sleep the whole time. 18 months old. You can guess. Was not playing. He never had a tantrum or anything, but he was just wired the whole time. And then we got there, and his family, we all saw him for the first time, and they're all like all over him, and he was hyped up. And then when he crashed hard. So did we. Okay, I've got to move over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's Bratbusters Parenting. And you can check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course. Right now, I have a group coaching session starting in half an hour. It's my 3rd one out of 6. So you can still get in on it. It's just a whole bunch of parents in the course are turning up, asking questions about the course. But this is week 3 specific. So it doesn't matter if you've started, you can still get in and you can see all these other parents and you can get in on the session, but it is week 3 specific information. And but the other ones are put on the course so you can view those later. Okay, I got to go over to, and then coaching you can look into and apply if you're interested. I can't take everyone on, but you can look into it. Anyway, I'm going to be moving over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's Bratbusters Parenting. Thanks so much. Bye now. Sorry, YouTube, but TikTok starts ads as soon as you turn it on now. Come on. Okay. Okay, I'm on TikTok and on YouTube here. Alexa on YouTube. We share custody of our 10-year-old daughter. She's afraid to do any personal chores alone, including brushing her teeth and getting dressed. She always wants an adult right next to her. She's 10 years old. I would just sort of say, well, no, that you don't need that. I don't know what else is going on. Like, what would feed into that? I don't know what else is going on with that. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to figure out when did that start? Why does she like that with everything else? It's too broad of a question. I can't answer it because I don't know the backstory. Okay, so this is from Kaylee on YouTube. Me again, what would you expect a 2-year-old boy's speech to be? Oh, okay. Some kids talk both my kids were early talkers, especially my son. He started talking really early. I don't remember how early. I can't remember now. But some kids don't talk till they're 3. So I know someone who didn't talk or walk till she was 3 years old. Then she got up, ran, and never shut up. That's what her mom told us. But yeah, so I can't tell you. If you're really concerned, then go to a pediatrician, a specialist, right? But yeah, so some kids don't talk till they're 3. Or walk, which that was unusual. But she was fine. Okay, so now I'm on TikTok. Am I? Yes, I am, I think. They all look the same. Yes, I know I am. Okay, so I'm on TikTok. By the way, my name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach if you're new here. And my link above, I forgot to say this in the last 2 lives because I do Facebook and Instagram before this. But be careful. If you want to look for me, I have people hijacking my information, my pictures, my videos, pretending to be me, and stealing money from people. So, I hear this every day. I can't do anything about all the criminals out there. But just make sure that link that is attached, whenever I'm doing a live, the link in that live is me. Because the lives, you can tell I'm feeding off your questions. That is live. So just be careful with that. Lots of people are making money off me, which have nothing to do with me. Just go to the links. And my website is bratbusters.com. It's not .net, .ca, .anything else. It's .com. And it's Bratbusters, plural. So that is me. And anyway, it's frustrating. But, I can't control all the criminals out there. Someone said, well, isn't that your responsibility? I'm not a cop. How would I do that? And online scams are extremely difficult to stop because they just change all their information, their APIs and everything all the time. Or they mix up APIs. They have all sorts of blocks and stuff. Okay. How do you support an advanced 2-year-old who gets bored quickly? Well, my son was labeled gifted and he didn't get bored. I'm going to check out my top. And besides being gifted, I always thought more of I wasn't thrilled about it because I thought, is he ever going to fit in? Like, he did, but he found everything very easy. But anyway, and then he was segregated in high school. I didn't have a say. I do not like segregation at all. I don't like my kids being singled out as freaks. Being gifted is I just felt bad about it. I see it more as a detriment. Anyway, I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. So if he's bored, it has nothing to do with his intelligence. Number 1 is childproof your home so you never have to say no. These are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Childproof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2 is you set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3 is when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world. Okay, they don't want to go to the nail salon with you. They want you to go to the park and roll down the hill with them. Number 4 is when you're disciplining a toddler, you do so in their world. They're about actions. They're not about words. They need consistent corrective actions. They'll learn not the first time, maybe the 50th time, okay, because it has to be repetitive. And also these mini therapy sessions discussing all the big feelings and big emotions, it's absolute crap. A 2-year-old does not need the therapy sessions. It's absolute garbage. That was invented to make the mom feel good about herself. It has nothing to do with the toddler. Okay, number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They're fresh. Okay, imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years and the first year you were a potato laying on a mattress. How much would you how much understanding would you have of the world? Also, someone said to me in the last live on Instagram just now, and they said, well, I'm sure he understands. He's very smart. He understands. Your idea of a 2-year-old understanding is very different from their idea of a 2-year-old understanding. Just because they understand they shouldn't hit because it hurts other people doesn't mean they're not going to do it. Okay, they understand it hurts, but they don't understand pain, concussions. You know what I'm saying? Their level of understanding is a 2-year-old level of understanding. You expect them to understand like your 35-year-old brain? You know, it's your lack of understanding of 2-year-olds that often causes all the problems. They're just crazy. They're brand new, fresh human beings. Okay, one marble and some tumbleweed. Okay. For the behavior board, can a rule be do as I say without whining or crying? Oh my gosh, no. No, that's too big of an ask. And what an insult to put on the board. Stop being rotten. That's what you're saying. Yeah, no, don't do that. That's in the attitude department. It's all about actions, okay? Do what I say. Yeah, that's a command. I don't talk like that. Yeah, that's the old-fashioned dictator authority style parenting. I would never talk like that. I teach leadership. Yeah, it's insulting. And they are allowed to cry. So the whining is kind of annoying, but the cry, they're allowed to cry. That's okay. Don't tell a child not to cry. My 3-year-old uses the same discipline that we say and do back to us. How do we stop this? How on earth is he doing that? Is he taking your media away from you? Is he making you do a chore? How on earth is he doing it? How does a 3-year-old have all that control in your household? I'd like to know. How on earth is a 3-year-old having control over your household like that? I've never heard of it. No one's ever asked me that. That's interesting. I don't know how on earth he'd be taking your media away or anything. Does he take your car keys away from you? And I have no idea what you mean. I might be reading it wrong. I have no idea what you mean. Besides leadership, still in process, any tips for a perfectionist kid, 5-year-old? A perfectionist at 5 years old usually says they don't want to make a mistake. That's usually based on insecurities. So it's an insecure child is what that says to me. If I can't be perfect, I won't be anything. They're afraid of the result. Do you focus more on winning and perfection, or do you focus on just giving it a go? That's a learned behavior. Perfectionism is not a good thing in a child, or even an adult, really. It's like, give it a go. If I'm not failing every single day at stuff, it means I'm not learning. That's the way I look at it. So yeah, there's no shame in failing. Yeah, so perfectionism is not a good thing. It means you've taught him that it's not okay to not be perfect. And so his self-esteem would be my main concern. So that's a YouTube question, by the way. You have fun with them. Just say, yeah, and don't play competitive games with kids either. You know, if you're trying to increase their self-esteem, don't pull out the Monopoly board. You know, go and like just play silly games. Just do silly stuff. Just run around the park with them. Just have fun. Play in the mud, whatever. Okay, I actually should get going. I've got my live group coaching gone. It's in, if you can still get in on it if you want. It's with my boot camp course. We're week 3, and today's live will be all focused on week 3. But you can still see what's going on. And there'll be other parents in there because they turn up. Most of them are on video, which is great. You see other parents going through all the same stuff you're going through. That's what's so nice about it, because in coaching, I tell stories about other parents all the time because I want them to know they're not the only ones going through it. I want them to know other parents' failures and successes. And that, you know, that's what life is. We're all trying and succeeding and, you know, whatever, we're failing, and it's just, life's messy. But hopefully with parenting, you learn how to be a leader so you can carry through with all this stuff. In other words, once you're a leader, you don't have to worry about trying to get respect anymore. It's already there. Maintaining respect is easy. Getting it is hard work. And it's going to be lots and lots of ups and downs when you're learning how to be a leader. The kids are going to have a really good week. Then they're going to remember the old you and have a really bad week. So you just got to be really calm and consistent when you're learning how to be a leader. Yeah, I got respect with my kids when they were like 3.5. They were kind of self-disciplined right through the teen years. Just kind of easy. They just sort of chose the right thing. They didn't do the wrong thing because they knew I would have said, hey, that wasn't right. What'd you do there? Okay, what do you think a consequence should be? That's how easy it gets. Now, oh, sorry, Mom, how about this? That's the way when you're a leader. There's none of that. Okay, I got to go. Thanks so much for joining me. Check out the link above. Free behavior board, mini toddler courses, the boot camp course, which the the group coaching session with that is starting up in about 20 minutes. And coaching. Look into that. I can't take everyone on anymore. I'm just super busy, but you can look into it and apply for coaching if you're interested. I will look at your email and decide whether or not that's a good fit for me right now, because I like to mix up the ages in coaching. Right now, I got a ton of teenagers that I'm working with, but because I hardly ever say no to parents of teenagers, because I know they're at the end, and usually it's more, bigger problems. And that's my specialty anyways, teenage stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye now.